Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I am the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have Abe for Robovember 2017. So, Abe came out in 2013, and was on a list of suggested creepypastas that had robots in them, given to us by Matt from The Drunk and the Ugly. Except he doesn't really remember giving me Abe as a suggestion, but it's on the list alongside all the other creepypastas he gave me. And since we did Blinky, I think last year or the year before that, which was another creepy robot short film.
I saw that in the suggested videos from this one.
Yeah, that one basically, and I'll get into I have some things about that in my notes involving Blinky and this. Okay, but yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how this one made it on our list, except for maybe just Matt didn't remember, because I asked him about it the other day, and he did not remember giving me suggesting it.
Maybe he was captured by Abe, and he got out, but his mind got wiped from the scenario.
He repressed.
But he had this link in his mind. It's I have to put this down, but I don't know what this is.
This is Ape. So, 2013, short film. You can check it out on YouTube. And I'll go into actually, I can give you now. It's by Rob Mclellan. It's a UK production. Basically, it's one of those short films that they post online kind of as a pitch to get a longer thing. Or as just kind of they had an idea for a film, they decided to shoot it, and then maybe somebody will pick it up. Which actually somebody has.
Oh, really?
MGM has actually acquired the rights to turn this into a full feature.
When?
Last year or so.
It's out?
No, they've acquired.
Working on. I was saying, when's it going to be out?
No, they've acquired the rights to it, so it might actually end up becoming a feature film in the future. Kind of like
which we may visit in Al Dente Goes to the Movies.
We'll definitely do that if that happens. But yeah, it's kind of like how Nine, the one with the ragdoll golems. Was started off as a literally an animator's thesis for school. Yeah. And it was a 9-minute video, and Tim Burton took it basically and funded it to be a full feature film. But yeah, so anyway, with this one with Abe, it starts off we're in a dingy basement or some weird butchery lab place. Yes. There's a woman strapped to a chair with duct tape over her mouth, and there's a moth flying around one of the lights. Mm-hmm. She comes to, freaking out about her situation, obviously, because that's one fucked up. And then she hears this thing coming through behind the curtain. Yeah, and then it opens up and it's this robot, this humanoid android robot character we presume to be Abe. It's actually never mentioned. And basically, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's in the credits, but we never actually. He does have some insignia on his chest, but I kept trying to, but it was either too blurry or it was he'd block it with something or and basically he gets a scalpel and he's about to cut into the person. Then he sees the moth and starts philosophizing or giving us philosophy about humans and how they're we strive for survival even though it's hopeless and all that. Yeah. And we strive for survival through with all manner of hopes and dreams and hopefully we'll find love someday even though our lives are really short. And then he cuts with a deft quick motion, he cuts the moth in half to get the point across. But then puts the scalpel away and starts talking about how he was programmed to love, but he wasn't programmed to cope when the people he loved, the people he served, which was a family he had, stopped loving him back. And so he basically has become mentally unstable because of that situation, and he tried to fix his old family. And this is all being told to us via a monologue. As the woman looks at it on in terror and confusion and is trying to figure out can I escape? and he's going on about like how he tried to fix his family because obviously they were broken, and then how he's going to fix the woman there because obviously like based on like how she's looking at him, she doesn't love him back. And then he gets a bone saw and just starts cutting, and then it fades away, or it cuts to like the outside of the splash curtains, and you see blood splatter, and she starts screaming, and then it kind of fades to black, and then we get a scene of like a woman at a cafe or something like that with a coffee, and like either across the street or like not too far away behind a wooden post, Abe is just staring at her, and he's like, I wish I didn't have this drive. I wish I could. I wish I didn't have to do the things I do. Yeah, because people say it's wrong, but I don't understand it. I wish I didn't. I couldn't love. And then it kind of ends there with this creepy like robot stare.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the short film Abe. Basically, it's a robot that has gained sentience, and also a psychotic or a psychopathic. Or sociopath or psychopath?
I don't know.
Has become basically
Probably closer to psychopath.
Yeah, basically a psychopath because like they have the urge to love, like they fall in love with people, but they can never love them back, and that infuriates him. So he basically tries to fix them by like cutting them up and rearranging them or something because he thinks that they're like machines, so like they can be fixed, but no, they can't be. And he keeps doing it over and over again. So basically, he's like a Dexter-like serial killer, or at least like I say Dexter because like that's kind of what it felt like. Was like, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't watched Dexter, but like I've seen like things like bits.
I know something about it.
Yeah.
And like I know
Every time I hear Dexter, I keep thinking of Dexter's Laboratory.
oh god, what if this is like Dexter's Lab meets Dexter?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's a short film from the UK by Rob Mclellan. MGM's got the rights to it now, so it might become a feature film.
Which would be pretty badass.
But I do have some issues with the short film as it is, and I tried looking around for the budget of this film, and I could not. However, so yeah, it feels like with a better budget, or maybe even just like so that middle section when he's monologuing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He picks up the knife and stuff like that, and then just looks off. And literally, there are scenes where he's just monologuing right in front, right to the camera. And
He's staring at the moth.
Yeah, I know he's staring at the moth, but like the way it's shot, he's just literally staring right at us, or he's looking at us, or it's just kind of presented very plainly at that point, at those points, those sequences. And I feel like it might have been creepier when he's talking about his family as well. Rather than just have him talking and telling us the story, maybe have some like flashbacks of the family, or even you don't even need video. You just have some background audio, muffled audio of a family like laughing and like whatnot, and then have it screams as the scene gets darker and darker. I think it would be.
I feel like if you cut away though,
no, I'm not saying cut away. I'm saying blend it with the scene as it is. Like, and just give us
like as he's talking, he like plays a recording of his family,
or like you start hearing like muffled like in the background some rather than have that creepy like kind of like it was kind of like it started off melancholy music, but like there'd be like little string crescendos of like creepiness, like the violin string kind of thing as he was talking. Maybe rather than have that, but then also have this like muffled like voices of like of the family, and then like them start screaming a little, or like start kind of like freaking out when he starts trying to fix them, because and maybe it's just my point of like my idea, like it's just a suggestion for it. I'm not saying that that's the right way or wrong way. I'm just saying like to me when I was watching this, I felt like that would have been really appropriate for this scene.
Well, yes, no.
Okay,
you go first though.
It's too much for a short film.
That's one aspect because I'm assuming they had a time limit.
Oh no, I also like that's why I was saying like if this had a little bit more of a budget. Also, I don't think that like it wouldn't have been too intrusive. Like even to have like that, just have some like audio, some like little like muted audio behind like while he's talking, just to kind of emphasize a little bit more. Because otherwise, like it doesn't like that scene in the middle. That scene in the middle didn't feel as dynamic as it could be to me. Like it could have been a lot more. Otherwise, yeah, it's just basically I'm just listening. I'm literally stuck there alongside the woman as this robot monologues in front of me.
Yeah.
And here's my point. Like, yes, you could do that with the muted audio and stuff, but that kind of puts you in the head of the robot a bit. Meanwhile, without it, you're put in the head of the person that's
character.
there.
Yeah, I can
so
see it,
you're
yeah.
witnessing what they're actually witnessing.
Yeah, okay.
Hence
Also,
why this got turned into a VR,
VR
one,
experience,
which
yeah.
I didn't realize until you told me.
I found that out through trivia on the IMDb, and then I actually looked it up, and yeah, there's a couple of people who played it on VR. I do not recommend. I'm not going to post the people that I did, and I'm not going to mention them because they were really annoying. Like, yeah, it was. I should have found one that I couldn't find one that was just the VR experience. I had to find one that was like basically half the screen was that person in VR.
That's how they do VR
yeah, I know,
videos. Yeah.
But anyway, actually, and it's kind of funny with that when you're saying like it is from the point of view of the woman that we're really supposed to be like kind of in, because that actress was actually really like good, or at least I really enjoyed
All the
her.
actors were really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the one that actually I could see like emoting like facially wise.
Yeah.
She's really good at facially. Like when he shows up behind the curtain, her face was. I'm not going to say it was comedic because it wasn't that comedic like with the situation, but it was like I really enjoyed it because she was just like that face of confusion.
Like, oh, what?
And it is the exact face I would have, but it was
Yeah.
like the way she emoted was really well done. It was, but it was like not quite cartoonish, but like just enough to like give the audience a little bit of a chuckle from it.
Yeah, well,
I was
with
like,
her mouth
this is
covered,
absurd.
you
She's like,
kind of have to
her
be a little
eyes
bit more
were, she's
emotive.
really good with like emoting with her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had duct tape over her face the whole time.
And it seemed like throughout the whole monologue and stuff, her opinion kept changing. Like at one point, she was like, "Aw," and like she actually cried at one point too when he was.
Okay, so that did happen.
Did you notice that?
I did the first time, and then when I watched it the second time last night, I didn't see it, and I was like, "Did I just envision?"
For me, it was backwards. The first time I watched it, I didn't notice. The second time I did,
No, I kind of
because she actually felt bad for him.
Yeah, and then she realized, "Oh shit, I'm about to be fixed or tried to get fixed." Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the actress for her like her eye emoting, and the voice actor for Abe was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out I actually watched I did catch a behind the scenes thing where it showed like the raw footage versus the edited footage. Holy crap, that entire performance was right there. Like they edited out the dude and added the robot.
Oh, the voice actor was there.
It was a mocap. It was like one of those, not a mocap suit, but it was like one of those suits that you put on, and like the guy, it was the actor.
It was
like,
probably
right
a
there.
mocap suit.
Yeah,
Did it have like little balls on it?
No, it didn't have balls, but it had like little like pluses and stuff like that. Like
That's a
little,
mocap
like,
suit then.
Okay, yeah, it's a mocap suit. Yeah, it just didn't look like ones I've seen before. But
Well, that's probably the newer ones. They don't have
Yeah.
the goofy balls anymore.
yeah, or the budget ones. But anyway, yeah, like that's basically they had him, and like I thought that the tools he had were actually like CGI'd as well.
They're real.
No, yeah, those are the guy picked them up, and that's how they like added the robot. Basically picked them up. So another thing about the robot, I found him extremely creepy as he came in from behind the curtain. Like behind that curtain, that was probably the most genuinely creepy scene in the story because it was just like the way they got the animation behind it. It looked like what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then he came through and. It was good when he was close up, like his face and stuff like that. But when you saw him like full body, like from the farther view, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
I thought the CG was really good in that.
I didn't. Compared to other stuff I've seen, like other other short films like this kind of thing I've seen, I think the far away shots were a little bit less refined than the close up shots. Like the close up shots, I could barely tell if that was CGI or not. But when you when it pulled it back and like showed him like full body torso and stuff like that, like turning around and stuff like that, it did feel a little too almost like uncanny valley or like claymation animation kind of almost. Again, to me, like I've watched a lot of like CGI stuff, or like a lot of effects, and like I've watched a lot of CGI animation. It came off a little clunky in that at the far-reaching part. But otherwise, the other animation bits were really good. And yeah, like the VR experience. It became a VR experience for various devices, and so that also. And I think then I felt even more like the person sitting strapped to the bed, because you are literally just. It is literally scene for scene. It's basically just like they pulled the audio and strapped it onto a. Somebody animated the entire sequences that happened in the within that.
Is it rendered well?
It's not rendered the best, but it's okay. Like, he's clearly a CGI effect and stuff like that, and that, like, even more so than in the
Oh, it's not the
film.
same quality?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It feels like a VR video game thing experience. But yeah, other than that, like, I'm kind of like this. It was a short film that has a lot of potential for a longer film. So I do hope that MGM actually makes a feature film of it, or like actually funds it into a feature film, because this would be a cool to see where he goes from here. Like, it's basically a slasher flick, or a serial killer, but it's a robot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen that story done before, but this was really well done. Also, sorry, I just remembered the other thing I wanted to bring up with Blinky. I also feel like this could be in the same universe as Blinky.
I haven't seen Blinky, so I can't.
Like, you saw it, right? Wait, were you in that
I
one?
can't remember.
Shit, you weren't in that one.
Well, for us and those at home who have not seen Blinky.
Blinky is basically the same situation, except we see it from what happens to the family. Basically, the robot. It's a robot, like toy or like companion, like buddy companion for the kid. For this kid who's like doesn't have a lot of friends. And just
Also, it's not a robot maid; it's a robot toy.
It's a robot friend, but he does do like stuff around the house as well.
So it's Teddy Ruxpin.
He's supposed to be like alone. He's supposed to be your friend. It's like, I'm Blinky, I'm your friend.
Yeah, it's Teddy Ruxpin, right?
Yeah, and then he gets abused a bunch of times in the thing, and then he just starts taking his revenge. Like, kills the dog, and then eventually kills the freaks out the kid freaks out at the robot, and the robot finally just snaps and basically kills the kid and feeds him to his parents.
Oh, that's nice.
He's like, "Oh, have you seen Billy?" And it's like, "Well, yes, he's here with us now." What do you mean? You're eating him. I killed him. I cooked him, and now you're eating him. Did I do good? And then they're freaking out, and then his head just starts spinning around, and the cops show up. Is like, "Hello, oh yeah, I'm Blinky. I'll be your friend." And he like lets the cops in, and then the last scene of the thing is just Blinky with the electric saw, just at the cops. Yeah, no, it's basically and the reason why Blinky. Actually, I think there was even a robot the kid is like walking with Blinky with all the groceries and stuff, and they see another robot that's kind of like Abe walking down the street. Now that I think about it, so it's like, yeah, maybe that was why I thought it felt like that. But it's like it feels like it would be in the same universe where like robots are starting to develop like psychotic feelings because they're being abused by their owners and stuff like that.
I could see them being in the same world then, yeah, for sure.
But it is by two different filmmakers, but like it felt like it was in the same kind of world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like that's kind of my thoughts on Abe. So, Mikey?
Alright, so the biggest issue that I have is that we have a robot.
Yeah.
That robot falls in love.
Yes.
He's programmed to love.
He was programmed to love his
okay.
companion.
Robots are inherently logical.
Yes.
Love is inherently illogical. They don't mesh together.
Yes, but I mean, okay, like with this story, we're in a setting where they are.
It's giving him motive. That's essentially.
Also, if you think about it, like your whole point, like obviously they didn't think about that when they created this appliance, this robot for being a servitor. They programmed him to love his and care for his charges or his family.
Yeah.
To be a better caretaker, right? So I get why you're angry at that and some of that, but also like this is obviously a story of like AI like evolving or like something developing or degrade or devolving into something worse because they gave him a human emotion that is not logical. They somehow programmed that into a machine, and the machine's programming is basically having trouble meshing with that because they didn't program him to, with the other things that you need when you deal with love, is coping with like the loss of love and stuff like that. They didn't program that in, so therefore his coding is basically fucking up and causing him to become amorally psychopathic. Or trying to repair the situation the way a machine would.
The way that the love is programmed into him is like, you are assigned to take care of this family.
Yeah.
So these people, you have to take care of their needs, and you taking care of their needs equals love.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's a mathematical equation behind it in his head.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that he wants someone to take care of him?
No, he wants to take care of other people.
But he
And
wants them
He
to-
wants them to enjoy him taking care of them.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, he had a family, and he did things for them, and he enjoyed doing that. But then when they stopped loving him, he's like, why? Let me see why.
Well, and that's it. Actually, in the VR thing, you actually find out where the saw went. It went right for the head. So he was trying to basically get to the brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was trying to get to the brain at that point. Because in the VR, you're like you actually get the saw right up to where your face would be.
Nice.
It starts sawing at your face. Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole inherent logical dilemma there that I had.
Yeah.
My explanation didn't help that?
No.
You can't see a robot thinking like that, being programmed?
Well,
I mean,
It's like,
okay, it's stupid. Like I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like it's the reason why so many bad mistakes or bad like situations happen in horror movies and stuff is that they use this. They don't really follow the logical thing that like a real logical person would do. They do the stupid thing.
yeah.
Like the corporation makes a robot that loves. Why the fuck would you do that? Because that's stupid. Because you're just asking for trouble at that point.
Well, but at the same time, it can be done well, like The Hitchhiker's Guide. You're a plastic pal who's fun to be with. He has emotion.
Don't talk to me about life.
Yeah, he has all the range of emotions, but he's stuck on depression.
Right.
Also, I don't even remember that.
You think you've got problems. You could be a socially depressed robot. Is it emotionally depressed robot or socially depressed robot? I just
Probably emotionally.
it's like, yeah, because it's Arthur Dent just like sitting there, it's like, I'm stuck here with an emotionally depressed robot in the middle of a wasteland. It's like, you think you've got problems. You could be an emotionally depressed robot. Yeah, or the doors is like,
Glad to be of service. Thank you.
Yeah, the emotion, the euphoric opening of door. The door, the ship's doors have a euphoric response to when they get opened. and
Oh,
all that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving off an air of smugness.
Yeah. But yeah, like I see your point, like, and I buy into that because that's generally how people try to, or how filmmakers and story writers try to like get the narrative going, is that something stupid has to happen. Otherwise, if it didn't happen this way, then we wouldn't have a story.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, there is no other way of getting around that because it's very hard to figure out, it's very hard to give like when you don't have something flawed, you don't have conflict, and when you don't have conflict, you really don't have a story. And that's the whole point of telling stories, that there has to be. It's like, yeah, in a perfect world, like nothing bad would happen and we'd be fine. But this isn't a perfect world that we're telling.
yeah.
Would you have liked it better if Abe went into explaining the reason that he was programmed for love?
Well, he did. Well,
He didn't really.
He said they programmed him for love. Or like, well,
Him saying that they programmed him isn't an explanation of why.
yeah, I guess so.
And-
I figured kind of insidious that they programmed him to love to like be a better caretaker, or to be to want to like help out the family a lot more. But
Yeah, But the other problem is that...
Also, I don't want to hear more of that monologue, because it was just like... I think it was enough the way it was.
Another issue is that they only programmed him to love. So that's the only emotion he gets. So...
And that's not healthy.
It really is.
There are so many, unhealthy things about just being, just having, an urge. Love's a great thing. Except when it's focused too much on.
Yeah.
That's where we get stalkers. That's where we get people who can't, we have, so many people, so many, psychotic, things stem from somebody loving too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Loving something too much or loving someone too much. Yeah.
And being programmed for only love and such.
Yeah, that's essentially what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Is that I'm in love with everyone with really long hair.
Yeah.
Well, out of the two that they showed.
Yeah.
Because he also loved his entire family. I'm assuming he didn't have a family of gorgeous women.
Maybe.
If he did, damn.
Well, I don't know. I think there should be a parody where it has him at the end and he's looking at a guy who has glorious long hair.
Fabio? Yeah. That's what happened to Fabio. Oh. Oh, man.
Because then that would add some more logic to it that he's going after long-haired people.
Yeah.
And then...
Or he just, or is it the fact that he could just find a random person and be like, I love you. That is what
or just
you're
walking down the street, it's damn, that...
he has programmed into his mind what he finds attractive.
Yeah, he walks.
But it's not
walking down the street and he finds a beautiful woman, and it's this again. Replace the robot with a serial killer or slasher thing, and that's basically the same premise. It's just somebody finds somebody attractive, and that's their new victim. It's basically how so many slasher flicks, slasher movies start. I watched one called Bereavement a couple of weeks ago. And that was basically he took in young women, grabbed them right out of basically as they were going home, getting into their car to go home for the evening as they worked at a diner or something like that. And he just basically abducted them and then would kill, brutalize and kill them in the movie. Just standard slasher flick kind of thing, or psycho killer. Movie narrative.
Mm-hmm. Long story short, you don't like the fact that he's programmed for love and that there's no real parameters behind that programming told. If there was some explanation, if he saw a family together doing things together, he'd be like, aw, that is a family thing. Family thing equals love.
Yeah.
Compared to just, that lady's hot. Which is kind of weird for a robot to think.
Yeah. And like I said, the core problem is that when you code something, it has to be logic.
Yeah.
You're coding logic into something, and like I say, love is inherently illogical.
Yeah.
And it's also a response to in our biological systems.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't have.
Well, yeah, but again, this is obviously a emergent AI. This is this AI, the AI programming of this robot. They added this code for it to love. It seems like they put in love for him to do that, and now it's developing in a bad way. It's developing more
because he doesn't know what love is.
Exactly. Yeah. What is love? Don't hurt me.
I don't know, I'm kind of conflicting with your points here. You're saying, love's logical and all that, yeah. But I could see the way that a robot could perceive love. And it's not that he actually experiences real love.
He doesn't even mention it, at the beginning. He basically goes to a little philosophy session about, why people love.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be something if he sees, a dad doing something for his son, playing catch, he sees person A helping person B for no reward equals love. There could be a mathematical situation he goes through in his head.
But he's not helping these people.
No, yeah,
he's just looking at them oh, you don't look at me like you love me. I must find out why you don't love me. But I haven't helped you, so I don't...
Yeah,
Well, because he can read human emotions.
I mean, obviously...
So because he's programmed to love, he's programmed to understand the people he's there to work with. So if he sees, like, that the mother's sad, he could read the expression that you're sad. Why are you sad?
Yeah. Or like when the woman on the
gurney.
In the gurney or in the chair,
chair?
she is not looking at him like with anything but confusion and fear.
Yeah.
And not love. And that's what he's registering.
So he's literally just reading her face.
Yeah.
The way that her eyebrows
obviously,
are, and he has a programming for that.
At least to me, the story is obviously just a social commentary, or is trying to use the social commentary about like a robot becoming a psycho because of like they're falling in love with people and they're not loving him back, and so he's like rebelling against that. Like it's a rogue. It's the rogue robot AI narrative that we're social commentary we're getting here. Mm-hmm. It's like robots can't register human emotion properly, so they do horrible things because of it, or they mistranslate human emotion.
All that has to happen is he just has to find someone to love him, and then the problem will be completely solved.
Not necessarily, like because what happens if they have a bad day, like they have a fight. Like that's what he's saying. Like he was saying, like he loved the family until they stopped loving him, and he couldn't cope with it. Like what happens if like you do that and you have that one bad day where they get to, where the person gets into a fight with him, and then he's like, oh well, we got into a fight. You must be broken.
Yeah, that's another thing that's not explained. It's not explained that something happens in a short frame of time, and then that means, okay, love equals 0, not 1 now, so now I have to kill you. Or if it's like, okay, that's 1 day. All right, we'll try on day 2. Day 2, okay, this person doesn't love me. Okay, well, day 3. All right, day 3, well, fine, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... Again, it's only 8 minutes or whatever it is,
yeah,
so there's only so much time... So much you can be said. That's
what I'm thinking is like this really was just kind of made to give us like at least the short film. Like again, maybe the extended feature film will have a little bit more in depth. But right now,
I hope so.
I really hope so too, because otherwise it's going to fall really flat. But like the way it is right now is we're probably not supposed to look at it this deeply.
No, probably not.
But like because right now all they're basically it's just trying to get across is like. Oh, this is a horror. This is a creepy horror film where a robot has love in its programming, and it's gone psycho because of it. Mm-hmm. It's gone serial killer because of it. Like that's basically all we're supposed to get out of the story.
Yeah, but we're also
we critically look at things silly.
Yes. So we're essentially theorizing different aspects, different ways that they could take this.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that MGM are listening.
Yeah. I'm sure they're listening to us.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Or who knows? Maybe the filmmakers. The filmmaker is apparently going to be a producer on the film.
Oh, nice.
So
as he should
and
be.
I think he might. I hope he's also part of the writing part of it. But,
yeah, for sure.
But anyway, Mikey, I think we keep. I'm sorry, we keep taking your.
All right, is that all your first point?
Is that you continue? Yeah. So bottom line is though. And like, we haven't changed your mind. You don't like the fact that love was added into the programming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's assumed that he kills her, but he could just be sharing some really sloppy food.
She's screaming.
Based on that VR experience, no.
But not based on the VR experience, yes.
No.
I highly doubt it. He had no food there.
Yeah.
There was a sawing action sound.
Well, there's a lot that we don't see in the scene.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
She's saying, like, on the other side of the camera, there's just a buffet.
Yeah.
With, like, he has, like, a bunch of sloppy joes ready to go and shit.
Yeah.
But why was she screaming?
I hate sloppy joes now! They're messy!
She's screaming because he's going to be force-feeding her. Because it's how he shows love.
Okay. He's going to force feed her with a bone saw.
And with duct tape over her mouth.
He has to cut, say, a pie or something. And then he has to take
it's the Monster Squad scene all over again, where it's like, it's like, are you boys ready? There's a last chance. She has a butcher knife in hand, for pie. He's like actually cutting pie for the kids. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. They're taking an entirely different turn.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's definitely presumed that she was killed, and then
Yeah.
he's going on to the next person.
He's being critically silly.
Yeah, no. All right.
Fine, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I liked the end, sort of where just him staring.
Yeah, that was pretty
That to me was the creepiest portion of it.
I just found like when I saw him in full, like moving around, so that it felt very fake to me. Like as somebody who watches a lot of CGI and a lot of animation, it didn't mesh to me as well as it did when you just saw a silhouette, like a blurred silhouette of him behind a curtain. That was creepy for me. But yeah, him just staring and narrating, like imagine like walking by, like just like walking by, just like. So let's just keep moving forward faster. As you just like as you walk by this robot that's just staring across the street. Or imagine if the woman had like looked over. Like the next scene after is like the woman looks over. It's like just looking behind her. No.
Well, the problem
It's
is
not there, and then a robot hand comes in and grabs her.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's start the movie over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is that this is a universe where robots are
Common.
Yeah.
So having a robot just standing there staring
Might not be
that all that scary. It might be just like, oh well, it's thinking of something.
And that's the thing. Like that's also part. Sorry, that's also part of the creepiness. Actually, is that like it's so innocuous in this setting because like it's just a robot. But it's thinking something heinous that only the audience knows what it's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like somebody else like walking by, like they have no idea. Like, and it's kind of like again the unassuming like killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I can get down with that.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. One of those cents we talked about for an hour.
Yeah, I was not expecting this to be that long
That's good.
because 8-minute video is like I watched it. I was like, well, I've got like a couple of notes. I really hope the other guys have some because otherwise it's gonna be a really short episode.
Yeah. All right. So, my experience with this is from the moment I hit play. Okay. No, it's not something super bad, but some I think that should be changed. So the starting credits are going in, and then in the bottom left, this red pop-up comes up, red annotation going like, love sci-fi? Then click here to check out the Mouse X teaser trailer.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks for pulling me immediately out of the scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that you're wanting to get immersed into the creepiness of it,
And
so
then-
keep that shit for when it's over.
Yeah, that's also that must be like a thing with that depends on the YouTube channel because this is on several different channels. This isn't just on the one like because I saw that one, but I watched the next one I watched was a different channel I believe of this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like basically like hosting like showing different like CGI films, short films. And
Yeah.
stuff.
But regardless, this is from the people who made it.
Yeah.
And they had that annotation there, which, like, especially when it's going over a creepy scene of a lab with like bloody chains and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like what are you?
I don't want that there. They should like just have it in the end credits. Or
Also, I
something.
think next year we need to do Mouse X or whatever.
Whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah, it's when I was looking up the IMDb, I initially thought this was part of the Blinky verse or whatever because Blinky was one of the recommended, but then there was also that mouse one I remember being recommended as well as a bunch of other like short. And then I realized they were all just different short films that are similar in that they are all like horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
Well, I watched this on my phone, so it actually didn't come up with that pop-up.
Nice.
Actually, and maybe the reason why it didn't pop up the second time was because I was watching on my Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Either way, the main way that I would think people would watch this is on the computer.
yeah.
And if that main way has this immersion-breaking thing right at the start,
Yeah.
it's kind of...
I mean, that's more or less a YouTube thing because like people like put annotations and ridiculous amounts of those things all over the place.
but
And it
people
does
do.
ruin
The posters do that.
Yeah, and
So-
you should like maybe not do it at the beginning of a movie. Maybe wait till the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. That's,
Yeah, well,
that's my entire
Like,
point.
it's like this. It's like, yeah, oh, I want to like this, but you're blocking the view.
I can't tell if I like this because I want to see it first.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, and what a lot of YouTubers do is, like, at the end, just like this? Well, you'll like these two, maybe, or whatever.
Yeah.
They have short little preview videos at the end before it actually ends.
And then they annotate it so that you can like go right to that link.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well, apparently you can't do that unless you're a monetized channel.
Huh.
Yeah, now they've changed it so you can't. You only get that annotating ability if you monetize, or if you are basically partnered up with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I see. All right, then the next point is, so one of the very first things you see are the bloody chains.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying bloody chains as in like those gosh darn chains.
No, like
they're
they are
literally
bleeding,
chains
or,
with blood on them.
not bleeding. They're literally dripping with blood.
But they're never used.
Yeah, they're really just there to kind of build up the atmosphere of like there's something wrong in this, or there's something grungy and wrong in this setting. Actually, what's interesting is you don't see it at all in the video, but in the VR experience, when you look over to the other side of the gurney or whatever, there's a body, there's a bloody body on the other side.
That's nice.
I was like,
That's nice.
like of the previous victim, basically.
So, those chains
Yes.
are for the tomato whipping contest.
You're still on this.
I see.
This culinary explanation.
That's why there was a mess at the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't even attacking her or feeding her food. He was just whipping the tomatoes, and she's like, "No, they don't deserve it. What did they do to you? They don't love me."
Jesus.
Yeah, we'll go with that logic.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, what are they there for?
I know, like they're there. Like I said, like they're there to build the atmosphere. Like that something horrible has happened in this place. Like it's really they're really just set dressing. Like they're just a purpose.
Yeah, but I don't like that they don't have an actual purpose in the lore.
They do. Like they're.
So, are you saying that Abe took these chains, hooked them up, and dripped real or fake blood on them just because that looks creepy? Moving on.
What might have happened is like he might have like strung up somebody on that.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's just like we don't see what he did to other people. Like this is just the one case where she's on a gurney. Maybe he's like developed or refined his like way of doing it. Maybe before when he first started, he like strung them up.
Mm-hmm. But my point is, I would like to see.
Well, maybe in the future film.
Oh, I know, I understand that.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of the problem.
Yeah.
But even if like in some of the shots where it's just like showing the outside, if it panned past and it just showed like just someone hanging from chains, then fine.
I honestly think that would ruin it. I think honestly, I'm not with you on that. Like I'm fine having.
I don't mean early on. I mean later on when you know.
Oh yeah, later on maybe as she's like when you see the blood splatter across the curtain, it pans farther out and you see more. You see bodies.
Yeah, and
that would be more effective. I think.
Yes.
But in that starting one, like I was fine with it because it basically just building up that there's something. It's trying to build up atmosphere and tension that something is amiss or something has gone wrong in this place.
I agree with you. It is building up, but it's not doing anything with that build up, with that specific aspect.
Yeah, again.
But again, if you like we said at the end, if it was zooming out and it showed like there's that chain from the beginning, but it's actually hanging from a dude that's like strung up to the ceiling or whatever.
Also, and the thing with that is also we have to think about the budget. So, like, if the person had a little bit more of a budget, yes, absolutely. Like kind of like how I thought, like there should be some like kind of ambient noise of the family while he's doing the monologue. Similar thing with this. Like, it would have been more effective if he had pulled out and had like some bodies like strung up, basically of failures.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Like, I noticed throughout your entire critique of this, you kept mentioning budget. I didn't feel it was low budget at all.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying low budget. I'm just saying like when you're doing a short film, you have a budget. So there's only so much you can do in a short with certain amount of money and stuff like that. And again, I don't know what the budget for this one is. I think when we did Blinky, Matt was able to actually find the budget for it. But basically, this is just like a small amount of money to do this. It was only 3 actors in the entire movie or in the entire short, and the script was and all that was done by everything else was done by Rob, and when you go to the website for Abe, the full crew thing, there's a fair amount of like people that worked on the film. Like basically they had a small team, like doing all the technical work on the around the camera.
Yeah.
But and doing the CGI effects and some of that, obviously. But there was. I'm not saying when I say the budget and some of that, I don't mean that it was shitty because it was a low budget film. No, I just mean like there was definitely some restraints that you couldn't do in a short that you'd have to save for a feature film, and so you're trying to get you're trying to get as much of the beats that you want to get across for the pitch in the short film.
Mm-hmm. Well, like the easiest way I could see of doing it in regards to bringing the chains into what he actually does is you do the bloody chain, you zoom in, you do the thing, you zoom out, back to the first scene with the bloody chain, and then it pans up, and it's just like chained around a dead, limp wrist with blood dripping from it.
I get you. Yeah. Like that would.
How much budget would that be? You have the fake blood. All you need to do is get a guy to hang his hand there.
Yeah, and maybe it's something that the filmmaker didn't think of, or it just
again. I'm not saying it's bad because it didn't do that. I'm just saying that's a way I would have seen it.
Yeah, and again, it's like like I said, it's like me wanting to have that ambient music or ambient noise behind in the monologue. Exactly. This would have made it a little bit more dynamic. It would have given you a little bit more closure on the bloody chain.
Well, it's just like when they introduce something, do something with it. You know? Like that's just my feelings on that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and like so often in like films and in stories, there's something that's brought up and just never addressed later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I'm going to briefly go over the monologue.
Okay.
And it's just the fact that I'm curious if every single person he comes in, that he ties in, if he comes in and says, "Hello, do you need anything?" and goes through the exact same paces every time.
He is a robot, so he might just be basically cycling through the same stuff over and over again. And he says he's like, "I'll just have to keep trying over and over," like kind of like along those lines. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but
yeah.
And basically like that. That's also first off, that's what a machine would do, just keep repeating it. But that's also one of the signs of insanity. Repeating the same things over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's, so like it's showing that the robot is both a robot and also a little unhinged.
Mm-hmm. It would almost be cool if at the end when it shows him staring at that lady and then it quickly zooms to him like opening up the curtain again and then he starts with the same line.
Yeah, like if it cut like something like a flash.
All of a sudden like, she's tied down again.
Yeah. And you can even do that like after the credits, like something like, it's just like, you hear like the muffled, like her, like a different like person like muffled and stuff like that, and then you see him like pull out, it's like, "Do you need anything?"
Yeah,
yeah.
So you know that he's literally just going
repeating.
Through
he's going through his going through the rounds basically. Yeah.
But other than that, like that's all I could really find wrong with it. The only flaw I could find, aside from those things like the chain's not going anywhere and my curiosity with it, which isn't a flaw at all. At the start of the credits, the actual characters, it goes, the three characters, the robot and the two women, are set up where it says the actress and then the character's name, and then the entire crew, it shows the person's name and then what their job is. Like, it's backwards. Is that something that they do? Where, like, the actual actors, their orientation of their their character name...
So the character name and then the actor's name? Or is it the actor's name?
It's set up like this. It goes actor/actress first, and then the character's name. And then all crew, it goes their job and then the person's name.
I know that sometimes they will do that, just so like you get the actor's name first to see who's part of it, and then like this, and then like Grip was this person, because that's a little more secondary. I mean,
that's the first time I've ever seen it flip like that. Because normally it's like this person was played by that.
I think it's just
Jean-Claude Van Damme played as Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I've seen it in different. I've seen different ways they do it in movies and so that, like different credit types. It might also depend on like this was shot in the UK. It might be different in the UK.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just that way, that person's style of putting credits down, or how they were told to format it. Like.
Mm-hmm. Then my last note is just like, this isn't really fair for us to review this comparing it to other creepypastas.
I'm not comparing it to creepypasta.
Like,
okay, so
30 people worked on this. I did a quick tally.
Yeah.
Around 30 people worked
Yeah.
on this compared to like most of the other things I read. It's one dude writing it.
yeah.
So it's
Okay,
you
so
can't really compare them.
The
It's
reason-
a different vein, right?
it is and it isn't. Like even in like Slender vlogs, like there's a larger team of people at work in those. This is just another avenue. So like I was never actually telling you guys to compare these to creepypastas.
Oh, I know.
Like this is basically just I asked for some suggestions for robot like creepypasta things, and I got this. It kind of is in the same vein as a creepypasta because it's either a pitch or it's somebody had an idea for a story and they wanted to get it out. It's just a different medium, and yeah, it has a large like 30 people on it, but that's a fairly small crew for a film thing. And like. So you go online, so you have creepypastas, which are usually one person writes it, and then like maybe some people edit it. Then
Yeah, right.
Some people
Maybe.
But then you have Slender vlogs, which are usually like 2 or 3 people to like 5 or 6 people, like in the background, like working on it, helping to work on it. But usually it's like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
And then you have a short film that has a budget, they're trying to get they're going to post on YouTube and other places. To try and get a larger company to make a feature film of it, or maybe get noticed, and they're again.
And the final tier is an actual movie.
Yeah, and the actual tier is like an actual movie or like a bigger budget indie film.
Yeah.
So like they're all basically independent projects that are trying to make a creepy narrative or trying to either a creepy or weird like story with the medium they're given. Mm-hmm. So and it's always it's independent usually, or it's like it started with one person. Like this one was written, produced, directed, and filmed by
Tom so.
Sorry, by Rob Mclellan. Yeah. Like he wasn't, and he wrote the script. He was the director and producer of it. He likely was the film, like was also behind the camera for most of it. But then, like, he had a bunch of people that he knew that could do the CGI and stuff like that. And sometimes that's not even the case. Like, sometimes with these short films, like, it's all, like, one dude doing, like, all the effects and doing all that stuff. And then they just have the actors in for the show. So it's very similar to a, like, Slender vlog series or, like, a weird YouTube channel series or, like, web series.
It's just a different layer of polish.
It's a different type. It's just a different layer of polish, or it's a different type of medium. So it has a little bit. Mm-hmm. It equates kind of to the same kind of production line. It's just because of the medium, it requires a few more people, a few more hands in it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, I'd like to apologize for jokingly associating yourself with Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
It was just there. It had to be said. I think you did a fantastic job on this.
Yeah, for sure, Rob. Like, we do, because I generally do look forward to the feature film of this. Like, I do want to see like where Abe goes.
Oh yeah,
or see like how Abe where Abe gets taken. Like, in terms
I want to see
of,
the past of how he got to where he is now and what happened.
We might get that. We might get some like I'd like even some like memory flashbacks or something like that. Of that would be cool. But honestly, like I want to see like kind of where you take like because there's so many different. There are some ways you can take a different like a serial killer. Or again, this could just end up turning into a slasher flick, which I'd also be down for because it's a robot slasher flick. We need more. We need more diversity in the slasher flick. Usually, it's just hillbillies or rednecks or deformed, horrible people. We don't get robots as much in that field.
Very true.
Like the closest we've gotten is a
Terminator.
Okay, yeah, Terminator.
Yeah.
Forgot about Terminator.
If you can call that slasher flick, really.
The first one, yeah. The first one's fairly horror based. Like it's a thriller at the very but I was also actually gonna say Chucky, so we get like a living doll, a living murderous doll. But so I would like to see a feature film of this one, just to like have some new slasher flick characters, because I'm a fan of slasher flicks. But so is that it then for you?
Yeah, that's the end of my notes.
All right, so recommendations. I will recommend this one. It had to me the beginning was strong. The character, the victim, the actress who played the victim, I should kind of sad that I didn't write down like the cast names since there was only 3 of them.
Yeah, I should have.
Because both the guy who voiced Abe did a really good job because of sounding like a psychotic British robot, from he kind of reminded me of the Portal robot or Portal AIs.
He kept his monotone.
Yeah, Oh yeah, and when you watch him actually doing the acting, his face doesn't is very
it's like dead.
Exactly, just deadpan, no emotion at all. Like he got into character. He got really good into character.
Yeah.
And then conversely, where his voice was perfect for that role, or was really good for that role. I'm not gonna say perfect because nothing's really perfect, but was really good for that role, really strong for it. The woman who the victim woman was really good with expressing a lot of emotions through just her eyes, and that's about it. She was, you could tell when she was confused and scared and shocked and astonished, and she even she shed a tear because she was she felt sorry for his thing. And then when he drops that he tried to fix his family, we got back to fear.
Yeah, and then the full range of bad emotions.
Yeah, it was really, and even some of the scenes when he's monologuing and looking at the moth, and she's just looking around. It's
can I get out of here?
Can I escape? No, fuck. But no dialogue at all. Just really good at expressing the emotions that she needed for the story. Yeah. Animation was good for most of it. I didn't, like I said, it. This was because it was a short film. It wasn't I think Blinky probably had better effects for Blinky.
I'm gonna have to see this now because
honestly,
Blinky, I didn't have a problem.
Blinky was also a mix of practical effects, but also a CGI when it came to it moving around. I believe, unless it was all CGI, in which case, damn. But it was just the one during the scenes where you fully see him move and he's walking around.
He turns around.
So it looked a little kind of out of place, or a little my uncanny valley effect kind of kicked in, and it didn't look right to me.
Well, when you're saying the uncanny valley kicked in, that means I know what it means, but that's good that you're seeing that it's so close to being real that it's not real, but you can kind of tell it's real. Not real.
When I may be using it wrong then for this case, because the way it was is when it was close up, I couldn't tell if it was real, if it was a practical effect, or if it was actually still CGI. And from what I saw in the behind the scenes stuff, it was all CGI.
Yeah, that's
the close up part was good. The close up parts were good. Mm-hmm. Some of the some of the close ups of the hands were okay, although some of them when he picked up the knife, there's a little bit of a glitch or something like that, and I'm not just sure. I'm just not sure if it's my own eyes that were telling me.
Might be fabricating a shotgun out of the scene.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just I just perceived it as my eyes or the way I looked at it. It was that looks fake. Yeah. And then when it's indirectly being used, going through behind a curtain, the robotic motion and the way it looked. In the shadows, looked creepy. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. And then when you see it in full view, to me, it just looked fake. It looked kind of it could have used a little bit more polish. Mm. But again, that's my own opinion. Take it what you will.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the story, here is a good start. Is a good pitch for a feature-length film. And again, I kind of hope MGM does actually take it and go make a full-length feature.
Well, they have it, right?
Yeah. I mean, just because you acquire the rights doesn't mean the film company is going to. It takes a while for it to actually get.
Oh, I understand.
So, the fact that they're waiting for Skullduggery Pleasant, the film, basically since the books started getting popular back in the day, and they Warner Brothers or whatever did get the rights to it, but we've not seen anything for it for a long time. We haven't heard any news about it. So
maybe they're working with a game development studio to make a tie-in video game.
Oh, that's gonna be
from Rocksteady.
Okay, if it was just based on the books, maybe.
Yeah.
But if it's or maybe Telltale. I do be okay with the Telltale game of Skullduggery, but because generally movie to video game translations don't work
that's why it takes so long, because to make a good video game you need more than a year to make it.
Yeah, well, it's been more than 3 or 4.
Yeah,
it's been more than 5 years for.
So it's going to be epic.
All right. Or
We're getting sidetracked.
We are. Okay,
Regardless.
Regardless, bottom line, I will recommend the short film of Abe, and I look forward to a feature film if it does come out.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mikey, you sense for you?
Alright. So I think someone should make a parody
Okay.
with actually showing food and having a guy at the end with long hair.
Fabio Hayes. The true
Okay.
creative Fabio.
And just have it be hilarious, because that's what I think would be hilarious.
All right. And
You're not
with
wrong.
regards to
It
recommending,
would be hilarious. Like, instead of the chains, make it like sausage links.
Yeah.
all I think of is come back, cold cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Mikey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah, like have it be a comedy, but have the robot guy maintain his seriousness, so it comes off.
So you really just want the weird trailer guy to like take the short film and just add in different things.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Jesus.
Shout out to weird trailers. Go for it.
Oh god.
But yeah, so recommendation wise, I do recommend it for watching at least once.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only person here that watched it only once.
I watched it. Oh, you only watched it once?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, only once.
Yes, I missed it.
Yeah.
So I recommend watching it once. It's interesting, but the robot doesn't act like a robot because he has love. So if you don't care about that and you just want something that's interesting to think about, then go ahead and give it a watch.
Okay.
Wow.
He's really stuck on that robot shit.
Well, I mean, that's his stance. I'm not going to change his stance.
Sure.
I just find it so interesting that, like, I watched this and I'm like, what can I say? It's really good. And then, like, I'm listening to you two, I'm like, how can you guys be shitting on this so much? Like, when you first went to your recommendation cultist, you're like, what should I do?
Well, no,
How is there thought behind it? It's I recommend it. It's awesome.
To be fair, like I was trying, like
You were like-
I was looking around. I was actually like we had to look at least I had to look a lot deeper into the video itself to find things to pick at it. Like for the review
the
for
fact
discussions
you
and
have
that.
to nitpick.
Like, I still said it's good. Like I still said it's
I
okay.
know. I just think it's hilarious. You had to take 10 seconds to think.
Well, because I had actually never solidified whether or not I wanted to recommend it or not. But like, I was like, no, all the things like, because honestly, like when I first watched it, like that's why I had to watch it a second time. Was the first time I watched, I was kind of bored at the beginning in the middle section. I was like, I kind of felt like I was that girl, but like, can I leave? No, I'm fucking stuck here.
Are you my dad? Whatever sort of movie. If like shit doesn't start blowing up in the first 5 minutes, it's like, what the fuck is this?
No, the beginning was good, and then the end was good. But that middle monologue, it didn't feel as dynamic as the rest of the video. And again, like I think if this was to get extended to a feature film, I would hope that it wouldn't just be a monologue. Because that monologue, when I looked at it, it just felt like somebody was just basically reading a speech in front of me. Again,
Well, it's not like she could have said anything.
no, and honestly, like I was kind of having more fun watching her reaction while rather than even looking at the fake robot.
That's where the dynamic of it comes from. Like seeing her opinion of this guy constantly changing and being like, okay, what the okay, confused, what are you here for? Then, oh god, what are you talking about?
And it's,
I feel sorry for you. Oh god, you're gonna kill me.
No, I get it. Like I'm just
Like, that's the entire monologue.
I just feel like there could have been a little bit more put into that to make that that monologue less of just a tell and have a little bit more show. But again, it is a short film. I'm okay with it not being like that. But yeah, like, it's just my opinion. Like just my stance on it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to change your mind about it. Like if you liked it, you liked it. That was just one of the problems I had with it when I initially watched it. Like I felt there was something off.
I just find that Mr. Positive here. Like, I'm being more positive than Mr. Positive today.
I can have like varying opinions, motherfuckers.
No, you're not allowed. You have to like everything. That's your stance. You have to like everything. 100% all the time.
I think the goal of the video was to have a creepy factor.
Yeah, to have
And that creepy factor, at the end, is there.
Is that he's for sure. Like he's continuing his cycle of murder.
Yeah.
Or of infatuation and murder.
Yeah.
Is basically what it is.
So it set out to do what it wanted to do.
Yeah. Why I recommended it.
Is good storytelling,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Why I ultimately recommended it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just continuing the conversation.
Okay.
I'm not harping on your
You
recommendation.
kind of sounded like you were. So.
Well, I had to harp on it a bit, so he had to harp on it a bit.
Apparently, yeah.
This is fair. Regardless, I will take 0 seconds to think about it and say
cool.
I recommend this because
That's
it's
perfectly fine.
it's a very well put together short story, and if it is going to become an actual movie, I'm totally down for it.
Yeah.
I want to learn about the past, about how all this happened, what happened exactly with his family, and what's going to happen in the future.
I feel like you don't need that, but I would also like to, but I feel like you don't necessarily. And just for aside, weird. It's almost like we're all 3 different people and have 3 different opinions on.
That's weird because you're actually here by yourself, just being amazing with voices and throwing your voice around.
Throwing my voice I'm about the crazy one you all are.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Like, I could live without, I could honestly live without just assuming what happened to the family. Like, obviously, like he tells us what happened to the family, and then like hints at what happened because he's like, obviously, he's cutting people up and stuff like that.
I understand that, but I want to know what caused him to believe that his family doesn't love him
Gotcha,
anymore.
yeah. See,
that's what I need to know.
I think that's actually where Blinky... You might need to watch Blinky at some point, because that's actually where... if either of you guys weren't in that one, then maybe that would be a good one for you guys to watch for your special Patreon episode. Of course. That's here reloaded. Because that one, like, we find out why Blinky gets broken. Or why Blinky breaks. Emotionally and psychologically.
And that's what I want to see with this. Those are like the only 2 things I can think about. I want to know what happened to make him think that his family doesn't love him anymore, to make him need to try to fix them.
Yeah.
I want to know what the hell was with the bloody chains. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. So full on Roundhouse recommendations.
Roundhouse kick to everyone's mind.
Roundhouse kicks in face with recommendations.
Yes.
All right, so that was this week's episode. If you like what you heard, if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. Where this gets posted, whether it be on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. We're on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for Evil. I'm at Review Cultist. The Gamer in Yellow is on Xbox Live at The Gamer in Yellow without the W because Xbox hates them.
Can't just give me one more letter.
No. And you can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDNTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas like to discuss on the show. If you want to send us robot creepypastas for next year's Robovember, that would be very much appreciated.
Or create
ones. Or if you have like a creepy short film kind of thing like a la Blinky or Abe, it sounds like we'll probably just end up getting a couple of those like on Robovembers because we don't have a whole lot to talk about when it comes to November anymore with creepypastas. Mm-hmm. Like I have next week we'll have one regarding a Quake bots, like video game bots, and I do that in quotes. So that kind of fits the bill, but it's more or less a video game thing than a robot thing, or it's basically AI, which works by technicality.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we don't really have a whole lot. Like aside from we kind of covered like all the good ones. Like Antran was was the spark of Robovember way back when, and then last year we did a bunch of robot ones, and then we kind of ran out of at least ones that I could find or good ones.
Yeah.
So. If you are...
Well, if the full movie of Abe is out by next year...
Yeah, we'll be doing that for ADR Goes to the Movies. But yeah, if you are... if you think you have a story involving like a creepy thing with actual robots, not just AI, like actual metallic shell of a creature or something like that, write it up, get it edited... and then submit it to us as a suggestion. Or if you have one that you've not heard us review, like legit, suggest it, please. give us that content.
So we can give you that content.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Also, you can check out the title cards for each episode on the Crazon Studios, on crazonstudios.tumblr, or go to the YouTube channel, look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis, and you can find the video parts of each episode. If you would like to support the show, go to Patreon and look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis. And to our patrons that are currently donating, thank you immensely. You are keeping the hosting bills at bay, and you're helping us grow. We can get other projects off the ground, like we started up ADR or Al Dente Reloaded and Al Dente Revelations with Mikey and Gamer in Yellow, who have their own version, their own episodes of the previous stories we've done that they were not privy to, and then they riff on the show, on the episode that we did, me and Dr. Leviathan did way back when. Mm-hmm. So that has been entertaining. As somebody who has to edit those, that has been.
I like how that's your word you choose.
Well, I don't always agree with your opinions, but so it's
weird. It's almost like we're different people.
I know. And I feel like that gets thrown a lot, around. That's been getting thrown around a lot recently. Yeah. So, but yeah, we have for if you're considering backing us at the Patreon, we have special episodes like ADR or Al Dente
ADRE and ADREV.
Al Dente Reloaded and Al Dente Revelations. We have special Patreon episodes. Like sometimes we'll go to conventions and we'll report back as to what we liked and what we didn't like about the convention or what we got there. Sometimes we'll just do like a random Patreon episode just for about something that isn't quite creepypasta worthy, but it's something related. Al Dente goes to the movies. Where we basically review a movie that's based off of something or inspired a creepypasta. We've got a bunch of stuff on the back burner that we'd like to start doing, and with the Patreon we can actually start doing some of those. So till next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.
Talk about this for 4 hours.
I would be amazed if we could get through this in 4 hours. Because there's not a lot. We got 40 hours out of 8 minutes?
It's a hell of a turnaround.
Damn. We had a lot to say about the story of this video. 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 Story of this video.